Pop Metal Show.
All right, welcome back. It's Hop Smell Show. It's Hop.
It's Mike.
Mike again.
String. I'm not Mike.
We brought double team mics, not a double mint or nothing like that. Got a request here from Evan James. He wanted a large group to do Creeping Death from Binge and Purge. So I'll be a large enough group.
Yeah, let's plug that in too.
Yeah, y'all might want to plug up. But me personally, I think me and Mike was just talking about this. This is Metallica in their prime right now.
Oh yeah.
So I know this is gonna be good. You're the only one here that hasn't seen it.
I haven't seen it.
It's been years since I've seen this.
Yeah, it's been a while for me too. So
Isn't this where didn't they have a box set to come out
Yeah.
before this? See, I had that. So I mean, I've heard it, but I haven't seen it.
I'm thinking this is a Seattle show. There's a show was Seattle and Mexico. I think it's
Mexico
the two
City,
shows.
I think. Yeah, something like that. I know Seattle was one. I think you're right on the Mexico part.
So I'm guessing it's one of them's Justice and one of them's Black. I can't remember whichever.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Whichever one's. I mean, that's a good comment section. Yeah, they don't. I mean, how much Metallica? When did you start getting into Metallica?
Oh Lord! After Master came out, when Master came out, I got that, and then I started getting into them. And then when I heard Ride the Lightning is probably my favorite album.
See, now, yeah, we could argue.
We
all
got
day.
another one.
Yeah, it's usually that or
got
Master.
another
What about you?
I remember listening to the cassette of Kill 'Em All, riding in my truck with Jeremy Crider going down the 42. We bought it at R&S Records, so that's a long time ago. But I actually flowed more towards Megadeth because that's sort of I don't know. I just like the way the LP the covers were more
Yeah.
appealing to me for Megadeth. But
That's some cool
You know.
artwork. Yeah.
And cool that Dave's back in full force. Got all his cancer straightened out, throat cancer. I heard some shows and man, he sounded phenomenal. What about you on Metallica?
I know we talked about this before. I don't know the exact year. I just remember there was a kid that I used to hang out with. He lived like a block behind me, and he had Ride Lightning, and I was still in school, so I think I was still in high school during that time. So it was before I graduated anyway. It was probably 10th or 11th grade maybe, and he had Ride Lightning, so that was my first exposure to him, and I love that album. So that's why that one's still my favorite. That was my first exposure. So
And I guess since everybody knows, even though Larry Love's not here,
he's here, but he's not here.
yeah, that was my first exposure. So
if you can listen, it's like you almost hear his voice.
Funny how that is.
yeah, we're not at the cow auction like one person seen the comment. Y'all would just go ahead and roll fists
Yeah,
and we'll
let's
just
roll.
talk about when it's done.
Yep.
A little bit more prepared on this video.
Make sure these things work.
Are we fucking ready?
Yeah, so turn that up.
Creeping Death!
That's getting most out of your equipment, your instruments.
All right, I got two things I want to say right offhand.
Okay.
Jason Newstead backups kicked ass. They were aggressive as hell. Second of all, whoever called me out about Kirk Hammett, he's no slouch. Y'all just watch the man play. I mean, he might not be Joe Satriani, but he's no slouch.
Damn good.
So, I mean,
Just the energy just from
Oh,
that
yeah.
song. Just imagine that whole show.
Yeah.
Just back then.
And being there.
Yeah, that.
How much? I mean, just sitting here watching it, you get kind of amped up a little bit, but just being there, how much more?
Oh,
like
I was on that. I went and seen them on that tour, and it's incredible.
Well, there's nothing like that today.
No.
There's not. I mean, there's nothing out there that you can go watch right now like that. As good. I mean, it's just not.
And imagine that was 2 hours. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was just like some one song, just 2 hours of just of that.
I remember when we went and saw them on that tour. They were by themselves, and they played the Graveyard Scene from The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I remember just how pumped up I was. And then they showed like footage of the city of Roanoke or whatever. And then they showed them running through the halls. Like Lars, like, we're gonna see you here in a little bit. And then they just come on stage and just annihilate you for like 2 hours. Like you said, you have that energy for a solid 2 hours. I mean, did any of y'all see him on Black Album Tour?
yeah, I guess what was it? The Load tour we saw. That was the first
Yeah,
time I got
that
to
was
see him.
front
No,
row.
yeah, that was the first time I saw.
That
him.
was front row. And that was incredible. Say what you want,
Yeah.
Randy Hartman, but
Well, he only saw him on St. Anger, so
but there's no. I mean,
What
watch-
happened? What happened with Newstead? I never did understand. Why did he get out? Because he was a perfect fit.
He
To
did, but
replace Burton.
I think he saw that it was just.
He said it
There
was
was-
his shoulders.
But I think he saw more being in there, that it was a lot of button heads, and I just felt like I think that he felt like he wasn't being used like he could have been used, and he even said in that
he saved Metallica.
yeah that he
thinks
said
he's-
that they thought they needed a break, that things were getting a little bit heated between everybody, and that he thought that everybody just needed a break, just walk away from it for a little bit, mellow out, and then get back together. But just because it was constant, touring and recording, and it was just no time off basically. And he said, then they just acted like they didn't want to, so he decided, well,
He
it's
made
fine.
'em.
I'll take a break, and then I'll
That'll
just
make
leave.
you guys take
and
a
then
break.
yeah, so, but
Yeah, well, he was a perfect fit.
Yeah.
And I was
he
sitting there
fit.
watching that and watching him and everything, and I thought, now if you screwed this up on your own and you got, like you were a fool.
Nah, I
He
think
was married because he's always said, he said he married music. That's why he never got, had a wife and kids. He's like, that was my commitment, was I married my passion with music.
didn't James used to give him hell a lot of
Oh,
times,
yeah.
too.
Oh, they
Have you ever seen those videos where they get mad at each other or he gets
Yeah.
mad at him on stage and stuff? Yeah.
Yeah, and they always made fun of him. I always talked about that on the 1.5 year Metallica, where Jason would be backstage and they'd be laughing at him. He'd be fixing sandwiches from the catering to take back to the hotel room. And I'm thinking, who's getting the last laugh now,
Mm-hmm.
They might have been making fun of him, but he was probably thinking, man, I'll save some money here. And, on the catering, it ain't coming out his check. Mm-hmm. It's free food, so.
Yeah, the other thing is, if you especially if you look at James and Lars now, how they play, and they sound good.
yeah.
But they don't.
They don't have
They
that
don't have
energy.
that.
Yeah,
Like
it's
that's not
that.
on stage. Like just that the moving around and just that's just vintage.
Well, but Newstead he's not a poser. To me, Trilo is I guess that's how you say his last name.
Trujillo?
Yeah, to me, he just I don't like the pose. To me, he poses a lot. He's doing a lot of that posing bass
Wait,
play.
he squats down
Yeah,
and does that.
that's a
yeah.
suicidal tendencies
Yeah.
type of.
Do you want to ring out the
Yeah, but I don't know. A lot of people probably don't even know. I mean, I knew he'd come from Suicidal. I mean, I knew that, but I bet there's a lot of people out there. The average Metallica fan probably don't know, I guess, what you would call the.
I don't know if he's in Infectious Grooves
Fair
too.
weather.
I don't know if he was in that group too.
I think he did have something to do with that.
Yeah, I think he did.
Infectious Grooves, boy. You remember them?
No.
That
I couldn't even tell you nothing they
That
sang.
was Mike Murr.
Mike Mirror, how we
Yeah.
say it, yeah.
That was his side project. That was probably early '90s.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
No, I didn't like it.
Love was
Well, I
all
didn't like
about-
Suicidal, so I wasn't a big fan of their
I was
stuff.
a,
So.
I was a join the army, and that's about it. I mean, everything else is.
I liked Lights Camera Revolution.
Where I saw your mom. Yeah,
Yeah. Like, golly, you're getting back. I saw.
That's
but we're like that's
That's
different.
But yes, that was a cool video, man.
It was cool.
That was cool.
Well, Evans James, that's about a big a group as you're gonna get. We only have 4.
We got room for
headphone
4. Unless
outlets.
we're getting people standing behind us here, that's
Yeah.
about all we can do.
And just like when it started, you're like, turn up. You
Yeah.
can't not turn
Yeah.
that up.
Yeah.
Like you can't not
Yeah.
turn. You can't just listen to that at a like low.
Yeah.
You got to bang your head or something. I mean, it's
Yeah.
just like there's so much, like you said, there's so much energy. Like you said, we're just watching this.
Mm-hmm.
So when you see it live, it's just unreal. Even to this day, I watched a show and still, you can't almost sit on your couch and just sit there. And like,
well, I can't imagine being in like the first 5 rows because you're probably getting freaking.
Oh, you're
just
squashed.
when I
Well,
was,
you know what? When we went to that the load tour and we saw them, and it was like kind of like a figure 8 thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't as big because that arena was kind of small on the floor where we were
Oh, I
at. So
can't- yeah.
we didn't have a whole lot of people behind. I mean, there was a good many people, but it wasn't like that shove that some of these venues
I
I'm
remember
sure back
still
then
having
had. But
sore ribs.
Well,
because
back in '92, most of them were probably still general mission, weren't they?
Yeah.
yeah, and that's when we went to that show. It was general mission, but you know they only allowed so many people on the floor, and then if you didn't get in there early enough, then you
Right.
had to sit in the bleachers or
Yeah, it was
up in
more
the seats.
lax at Roanoke.
Yeah,
Except for Kid Rock, but that's a whole different
Yeah.
thing too. But,
that was a
so, like I said, Hope Evans James, hope like that, and it was always good to roll back and see something from our past that we were passionate about. Guys, got anything else you want to hear?
I mean.
I just had my little bitch session about Kirk Hammett, but I
Yeah,
guess
I
if,
think he proved himself on that, but
I mean, yeah. What do y'all think of Kirk Hammett? I did get some pretty nasty comment about Kirk Hammett.
well,
in
and
one
I
of
think
my other videos,
I think
so-
from what you said, the way you had it worded,
Yeah.
they just mistook your
Yeah, I think
what
they
you
were
had
just-
said, and you made it. They made it sound like you thought he was the best in
Yeah.
the United States or something, or the best in the world or whatever. But and from what you said, that's
I'm
not
just-
how you meant it, but and that's just how they took it.
for the situation he's in. I mean, you know, for what he come into, and Dave's probably on a higher pedestal than Kirk by far.
Oh yeah.
But for what Kirk is doing,
Mm-hmm.
I think he's doing a good job. I mean, don't y'all think so?
You can't
yeah.
argue that.
Yeah. And you know, and even like you go back and look at the some kind of monster or whatever, he was just like, I just want to play.
Yeah,
I
when
just
they were
wanna play.
when they
You
were
know, y'all-
complaining about everything, yeah, he's like, let's just go in there and jam. We're a rock and roll band.
Yeah.
You know, even though he wore that damn cowboy hat. Other than that, Kirk, yeah, that kind of might have ruined
Well,
your
he
image a
rides
little bit.
horses. He's
But yeah, but even on Some Kind of Monster, you ever watched that? He was like Kirk was like the coolest one in that because everybody else it was chaos. But all right.
He seems of all of them like the one that everybody wants to hang out with. You never see, hey, let's go hang out with Lars. I mean, I forget what comedian was. It's one of those guys that you love, Jim Brewer.
Oh, yeah,
he
yeah,
can
yeah.
tell you some shitty Lars stories.
oh, I'm sure.
You know, Lars is like, you fucker. And he's just like, you know, he's just bad mouthing him the whole time. And you know, James Hetfield, I don't see people say, "Oh, I was over at a great party." James is like, "No, you don't hear that." You know.
Well, even when we met him, Jason was the first one. I mean, not met him, but when they played,
Came out,
Jason
yeah.
was the first one out. I mean, giving everybody high fives, all the crowd, you know, and everybody else was like just come out and walked up on stage. I mean, Jason was all about, and I've heard of people who's met him, he was all about fans. You know, which,
Well, that's
And you got that usually in
Why
the
they
band
are.
you have that one guy that is the crowd guy, you know, the one that comes out and hangs out and you know talks to the fans and whatnot, and then a lot that gives the other guys that don't give a shit about, not that they don't give a shit about the fans, but
Yeah.
they're not as worried about coming out.
well, they
and
could be
meeting-
like, oh, we ain't gonna worry about Jason.
yeah, he's got them, so we'll just stay on the bus and we'll drink or whatever. So
Yeah.
you know, it's kind of good that you do have at least one guy in the band. It's
And maybe Robert's on
Fan-friendly.
that. Maybe that was part of his contract. You have to be friendly to the fans.
well, you know, when we saw Black Label when he played Black Label there, he came out after the show and he.
So,
we got.
That was
I
part
got
of
a
the
picture. I don't know
contract.
what I got. If I got anything signed by him, but I did get. I think I got a picture with him. So
Yeah, I do remember him playing for them a while. They kind of swapped after that, because that's when
Yeah, that
Jason
was-
was playing for Ozzy. You remember that? He played that brief stint he had for
No,
Ozzy.
I did not know that.
Yeah, that
know
was
if I
after
even knew
Metallica. They kind of like swapped. What was it? Oh, Metallica took Robert.
yeah.
And Sharon got pissy about it, so she said, well, I'll just get Jason. So, you know, that's just Sharon being Sharon, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to ramble, and we're already on Ozzy now.
Yeah, we're already 20 minutes deep. So
All right, I guess we're going to roll on out here. It's Hot Smell Show. We're out of here. Later, y'all.
peace.
All right, we're going to go under the table.
You gotta go under the table. Oh, it's not working.
Let's